Is there a favorite match of yours that you feel like doesn't get talked about enough?
Pete Dunne in NXT. I feel like that second run in NXT is like one of my favorite parts of my career. And I feel like it really, my style and COVID wrestling was a great combination.
Really?
Yeah, because
Most people hated COVID wrestling.
yes, and I'll explain this now, right? I can wrestle just like technically, which is what I like to do. But a lot of guys like to wrestle like for the audience and the cadence of the audience. So, for example, block, yay, bump, bump, duck, shoot, reverse, yay. And they need the crowd to get that. When you take the crowd out of that cadence isn't there. So if you do that same sequence, it doesn't have the same effect because you don't have the audience interacting with it.
Yeah, it's like a comedian telling jokes and there's no audience to laugh.
Exactly. So when we took the crowd out of it, well, when the crowd got taken out of it by COVID,
Yeah.
I realized, oh, I'm wrestling now for the cameras, not for the people. So I'm going to wrestle so the camera can shoot in tight on me. So now I can like manipulate joints, show the details that I can't really show to the audience that are here because they're not going to see it when they're like, in row Z, but there's no one in row Z. Now I'm just wrestling for the people watching on TV.
Yeah.
So we'll get close in shots. So I feel like I was able to then revert back to like my technical wrestling style, like that I would do like in New Japan and stuff, and kind of focus more on that. And that second run in NXT, being able to wrestle guys like Kyle, Pete, Adam, I was able to, go more, dive deeper into that style than I had in a long time, and like kind of wrestle the way I wanted to for the cameras. And I feel like that run was one of my favorite runs of my career.
Did you take that run going back to NXT as a demotion? Like you were doing big stuff on the main roster, and now it's back to NXT.
No, not at all. It was a conversation I'd had with Triple H and Paul Heyman, and NXT was going live for the first time, and they needed some guys who were able to, deal with live TV. I feel like maybe things in WWE, I wasn't going like that. I was just kind of going like that. And the idea was, hey, why don't we just go back to NXT for like 3-4 months, like help out with the live show. We can rely on you in that sense. You can help some of the guys down there, and we'll bring you back in like 3-4 months. I said, sounds great. And when I went down there, I think someone got hurt, and then they said, hey, can you be champ? I said, sure. And, that was only going to be for, a couple months. And then I think someone else got hurt, and it ended up being 2 years. But I look back on that like so fondly. And like, I really feel like I lucked out because I was living in Orlando at the time. The Full Sail or the Performance Center was like 15 minutes from my house, whereas the Thunderdome was like 2 hours drive.
Sure.
Right. So like I was just having to like drive 15 minutes as opposed to like 2 hours every week.
Yeah.
And then also the guys in NXT at the time were guys like that I really wanted to wrestle and kind of lent to that style that I wanted to do, like especially Pete. And I just feel very lucky that kind of all kind of came together in favor of me. And probably I benefited more out of COVID wrestling probably than anybody.